Good morning. This is TCR, TroyCommunityRadio.com. I'm Clint Myers on 107.1 WTJN for David Denoyer on TCTV. Time now for the Mayor's Report, and of course with us this morning is Mayor Michael Beamish. Good morning, Mayor.
Well, good morning, Clint, and good morning, David, and good morning to all those who are either listening or watching.
Exactly. Hey, you know what's going on this morning that is brand new back? I mean, there's so much always going on. Farmers Market. We started on Cherry Street this morning.
That's right, we did, as we air this show, so people can start coming downtown for a lot of reasons now. You know, we still have all the activities going on, but Farmers Market is one of those that has been very popular the last few years.
Absolutely. Extended hours now, goes on till 1 o'clock this afternoon, started at 9, so plenty of time to come on over and get some shopping done. When we're talking about activities downtown, we've got to look back and talk about the Strawberry Festival.
It's been memorable.
40th anniversary this past year.
40 years, and it started with the thought of Steve Hamilton and working with the Fultons, and it's evolved 40 years to be not only on the levee but now downtown, and it's been a good thing for a lot of clubs, organizations who are nonprofits who use these profits for their projects throughout the rest of the year. So
well,
it's a wonderful opportunity.
Whole basis of the Strawberry Festival is for raising the money for the nonprofits.
That's right, and a lot of times we forget that. We see a lot of folks coming into town, and there's a lot of inconvenience with a festival. It takes a lot of planning to make this, and a lot of volunteers to make it go. So I want to give a shout out and thank you to the city workers, the many volunteers of the Troy Strawberry Festival, certainly Nathan Walters, Corey Swayzer, and all the committee chairs that made this festival a success. We did have some rain. Seems like we have rain every year at some
point during the festival.
But Sunday was a beautiful day. A lot of traffic, a lot of people, foot traffic, enjoying the festival. So we had a really, from all indications, a very successful 40th year Troy Strawberry Festival.
And even though it did rain a little bit, and you have that inconvenience, what we saw from our windows really didn't deter the crowd. They all brought umbrellas.
They were prepared.
Yeah, they were prepared.
And it was just a nice time. And again, the results are going to benefit people throughout our community throughout the whole year. So that's a good thing. But a lot of people have forgotten that June 4th was also another special day. You know, it was our Troy Strawberry Festival weekend, but it also was National Trails Day. Now, you might ask, why did he bring up National Trails Day?
Yeah.
It was June 4th. Well, there's a little bit of a breaking news that I'm so proud to be able to share, that the Great Miami River, of which we're a main part, that's a treasure of Troy, the Stillwater and Mav Rivers have been named a National Water Trail System.
Nice.
Now, a few years ago, we were named, Great Miami River was named a state water trail system, which is a designation you give to a waterway treasure that could benefit a community through recreation, through economic efforts, and we've talked about that many times. But I just want to read a quote from our U.S. Secretary of the Interior, who talks about a world-class network of national trails provides easy, accessible places for people to enjoy exercise, recreation, and connect with nature, both in an urban and a rural setting. It boosts tourism and supports economic opportunities in local communities across our country. This is from the U.S. Secretary of Interior, Sally Jewell. It's things we've talked about for a couple of years now, about how we can build on the treasure of our Great Miami River. And it's my understanding that we are now designated the only national water trail in Ohio.
Wow.
So though we have the Great Miami and we want to include Stillwater and the Mad Rivers, it still is a local, regional effort to use our rivers as treasures and use them for tools for recreation, amenities, bringing people into our communities, the economic value in our toolbox. And so here we are getting ready to open up our renovated Treasure Island Park, and then we find out through the national efforts that we're designated as a national water trail system. And that goes along with our recreational trail system that we have that goes for miles, is the U.S. Longest recreational trail system, comes from this region.
Now, we've seen down in Dayton what they've done with their riverscape and everything, and how it's just added to Dayton.
And they keep growing.
Yes.
In fact, now they're starting to see businesses want to gravitate towards the river. High-end condos are being built along the river. And here we are on the northern Miami Valley side of Dayton, and we are also trying to capitalize on what the river can become, as it has in the 40s and 50s. If anybody wants to be a history lesson, look at the river in the 40s and 50s, and look at the many, many people who came and sat and watched along the banks, different river activities going on. That's the kind of thinking that we're trying to revive with, in this case, Treasure Island Park, which I hope we can talk a little bit about.
Absolutely.
That's coming up this
Sunday.
This
the grand opening of the park and the dedication of the lighthouse. I've seen beautiful pictures that have been posted on Facebook of all different angles and the different aspects of the park. I can't wait to get down there. I keep driving past, and they were working on the driveway this week, getting some of the asphalt
got a lot to
down.
do.
So I'm just waiting for the surprise on Sunday.
Well, Sunday will come, and hopefully we'll have another beautiful day this Sunday for the Treasure Island Park opening and lighthouse dedication. You know, the lighthouse has always been a symbol of our river and the Treasure Island Park, and it's been recreated thanks to the Troy Foundation. So we're going to have a big dedication ceremony. It's going to start at 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock we'll have our welcome. I have the opportunity to welcome everybody that comes down. The national anthem will be performed by the Troy Civic Band. They're going to have a home down there now. And then we're going to have we'll have some comments made by yours truly. Hopefully I'll have a little proclamation to kick off the day. And then we'll have some comments on behalf of the Troy Foundation, who are main sponsors of the Lighthouse. And that'll be Melissa Kleps. She's the executive director. I'm sure she'll have some comments. Al Cappers, who's our park board president, will have comments to be made. We'll then have the Troy Civic Band kind of close that portion of the dedication.
Well, I was going to ask if we're going to have a little entertainment.
Yeah,
down
we'll
there.
have a little entertainment, and then following that, from 3 to 5, we'll just kind of have an open house, an open walk, if you will, just to walk around and get an ambiance of the new park and some of the structures that are featured and added. Now, I will say that we've planted, reseeded, because a lot of construction went into that, so you won't see that plush grass right now yet. But you'll get an idea how you can visualize from the Marina building, looking down towards downtown with the courthouse, the lighthouse, the downtown skyline, the bridges, and just get an idea of what that park can become, and bring back the past and look into the future. I'm excited about all the possibilities. Of course, we brought events, we brought activities, both wellness, recreation, and concerts. We got concerts galore that don't take the place of Proudly Plaza's concert series, but just support those. And so we really almost doubled the activity.
I was going to say that's what you've done. You've doubled the ability of what you can do,
and all for the public and for all ages and for families. And that's what I've always wanted to visualize, something that keeps that Midwest small town flavor with big town taste for families, be a family place to come and visit.
Now, I'd like what you said with the view. I know when we had gone down and did the taping with
Right.
David, Troy Community Television on Demand, the view out of the back of the marina where the restaurant will be, when you look down, you see the lighthouse and you can see the bridge, the new Adams Street Bridge.
You got it.
It's a perfect view down through. I haven't stopped on the Adams Street Bridge to look the opposite direction, but I know just the whole site of it, the layout of the park, the trails that are there, and I love the fact that they added the stones from the old lock.
Locked in.
So those are there. You could sit down, take a rest. They kind of border along the trails and river.
Well, we have some other things being planned too. We're not going to stop. We have some other things that need to be done, and obviously there'll be some extra work that still needs to be done to make that park really blossom and come alive.
The tweaking.
The tweaking. But they have the Smith's Boathouse Restaurant in the offing. They're going to take their time to implement that restaurant, but the quality will be there, and then that becomes a destination for people. So I think the whole will be a good move for the Northern Miami Valley region as it connects with Dayton and South.
As all these trails tie together.
They all do.
You would be able to get on your bike. Someone from Tip City could bike up here and come to the Smith's Boathouse.
I also want to mention, because we talked about music, between that 3 and 5 time, after we do the dedication, Rum River Blend. Everybody knows the popular band are going to be performing, and I know they feel honored to be asked. I feel honored to have them be a part of our grand opening. So they're going to be down, probably performing in the Shelter House area because it's centrally located. So I invite anybody who's curious to come down, but be visual. Think down the road and see what that possibility would have to rivers, concerts, recreation, wellness, and start thinking of the possibilities for people of all ages.
I don't know how anyone could go down there and not come out of it with, wow, now I get it, or now I see it. This is really cool.
And again, everybody always says, but it's going to flood. Well, rivers go up, rivers go down.
You know, the levee has flooded every year down through there.
And we still see it beautiful.
Yeah, it's still grass, still everything's fine down there.
And we have engineered it and designed it so water runoff could take place quicker. The structures are built to sustain any kind of water. Electricals put up higher. I mean, we thought this thing through, so yes, we understand that there will be times when the water will come up, but it also will recede. And the way we have built this is when it does recede, it's available.
Exactly.
For use. And we will have a canoe, kayak livery there, Chris Jackson, and Ventures on the Great Miami's coming to Troy, and we're excited about that. We'll probably have a food truck or two down in there, and
I just think that'll be great.
We're trying to think of something that will attract people of all ages to just come enjoy. But you mentioned, Clint, and one thing I think, just coming and sitting and looking at the view.
You've got to experience it.
I think that in itself is worth the destination to come down there.
All right. Now, you had council this week.
It was short. We did have council. There were only one resolution, one ordinance. We had 8 members of council present, so we were able to conduct business. The resolution was pretty standard. It's from the auditor, resolution estimating aggregate maximum amounts. This sounds real complicated, but it really isn't. Public funds to be awarded for deposits. That is a requirement that's asked of us every year from the state. It just basically says we have prudent reserves available to back up any collateral that we need to have from the banking. And it passed 8-0. It's pretty routine. The auditor's well on top of that and knows what we need to do. And John Frigge, coming from the banking industry, he knows both sides. So that passed. The other one is the consideration for that park levy and recreation of 2.01 mils that would be placed on the November 8th ballot. that is still moving forward to a third reading, listening to pros and cons of that. We did have a number of folks come forward and said they were supporting that because it does involve almost all of our recreational programming, and it allow, especially the baseball, the junior baseball. We all know how that has been very costly to maintain at the new complex, and they would like to get it on higher ground and have an opportunity for the young people in our community and the coaches, which are the adults, to have a place that's consistently able to have ball. That's just one, but there's a golf course, there's a soccer, there's the senior citizens. I mean, there's a lot of other entities, a miracle field, helping those with have disabilities to be included in an opportunity for
underneath
them.
that umbrella. Of
right, underneath the umbrella. That's a good way to say it, Clint. Underneath an umbrella of park programming. But that moved to a third reading. They're doing their due diligence. And really, all I think council does, this is coming to us from an outside public committee that wants to continue to improve the recreational programming. But council has to make the decision to put it on the ballot or not. So they're doing their due diligence. Probably come up for a third reading at the next council meeting, and they'll make that decision to put it on the ballot or not. So that was the biggie thing. We had Teen Leadership Troy.
I was going to say, I've seen the sea of red shirts downtown in the morning,
sure.
and that's Leadership Troy.
You sure have. These are 26 young people. They are going to be incoming seniors. They are the role models and the future leaders of this community. So they spend a week-long time in getting to understand what Troy's all about. They have spent a day with us, and during that time we talk about statutory form of government, so they understand the difference between charter and statutory. And then we also talk about what are the good things that they see as teenagers, leaders of the future, and then what are the things that could be still improved to make Troy even a better place. So we talk about that, we share that, then we brainstorm and rank order, and then we pass that on to council, the Board of Education, the departments, so that everybody understands what young people are thinking for the future of Troy.
All right. Now, we've got some inconveniences in town.
Yeah, we do.
The street programs that are going on and projects, but out of those inconveniences will be wonderful streets when it's done.
When we get done and everything gets smoothed out, I like that, smoothed out, everybody's usually pretty happy with the way the final product looks. Well, that you have to get there. And we have two major projects going on, and again, I think you said it well, it is an inconvenience. It does cause people some consternation. It does provide an opportunity for us to view different parts of the city.
Well,
because you have to find ways to get around.
Good point there.
So, and I'm a good example. I'm in a target zone for the McCaig project being done. But let's talk about North Market, because that's only going to be, we think, 75 days or less, depending on weather. But that's on the redecking project over the bridge, North Market Street Bridge. And we're not closing it off completely, so there's, instead of the 4 lanes, we have 1 lane in each direction moving in and through town.
And it's moved, right now it's moved over to the southbound lane.
Right, and then they'll fix that and then they'll shift. Much like you see downtown Dayton. That's a little smaller scale.
Yeah, on a very much smaller scale.
Very
Right?
much.
People should be very appreciative of that.
Well, when it gets done, I think everybody will be very pleased.
Oh,
but
yeah.
It does require cooperation. It does require patience, and realizing that right now it's an inconvenience, but the future will be a smoother and a more, I guess, for any reason, safer. Because
The result of what
right.
comes out of it is going to be very pleasing.
Right.
If you look at where McCaig had already been done last year, wow, what a difference that made on that street.
And we are phasing. That's a good point you make, Clint, because I want to talk a little bit about McCaig Road project. We have already completed 1 section of that, and there were a lot of residents impacted on that. But I think if you talk to those residents, it was an inconvenience. There's times when I'm sure everybody was frustrated. But the result is sidewalks walls to the residents' homes, the street, the infrastructure that was placed as we went to improve for the future. All that is now done in that one section. Now we're ready to move to the next section. The next section goes from the railroad. It goes past Ridge, it goes past Haywood School, and it goes up to Lake Street. So yes, there's a little more of a stretch there, and probably people are going to need to learn how to go north, south, east, and west if you're in the target area. Now, I will say our patrols are looking at that, much like when they did the North Market Street project, looking for people who really, we want to get this project done. They're looking for 150 days possible, which puts it into the school year. Well, they're starting at the school area zone so that they can at least get that project part done, so that bus traffic and all that. But they need cooperation from all of the residents or the pass-throughers. That's what we need to ask everybody to find other ways around that area of McCaig Road. Find a way Elm Street would go north-south, or you can go down to Dorset north-south, and then you still have the Main Street east and west. But they are targeting people who are trying to use that as still a cut-through, a shortcut. But residents, I want to say, residents who live there still have the opportunity to get to their homes.
Right.
They may have to, a while, somebody may ask them a question, are you a resident here, versus are you just trying to go take a shortcut through?
Right.
And so cooperation again, patience is going to be, I'm one of those people in that target zone as well. And so my wife and I, Fern, have figured out new ways, new scenery, if you will, of getting around town. But it can be done.
But it will be what a convenience when it's done.
We know from the past, because we've already done one phase of McCaig, we know this is a very difficult phase of McCaig. But with cooperation, when we get done, think of what you see in the first phase of McCaig, and that's the way it'll look all the way down.
It is more than just a street resurfacing project. You're going down all the way. It's kind of starting over, and you're getting new curbs and sidewalks and roads,
infrastructure,
all the infrastructure.
Right. And so, again, their goal is to have it at least partially open for school start.
Right.
And
so it's safe for the kids and the
right.
bus, like you said, the bus traffic, folks dropping off the kids in the car. That will be prepared there, but will still be going on down towards the railroad track.
And I understand the frustrations that can come, but if everybody just learns to have a little patience, cooperation, the outcome is going to be good. It's going to be good for McCaig Road, and then we'll move down to the next phase. We're doing it in sections, and eventually, because we know McCaig is a major artery.
And it certainly is. It would be a good time when you feel that frustration come on. Take a deep breath, count to 10, and then remember to leave the house a few minutes earlier so your own time management can play into how you get around it.
Good advice, and I do appreciate everybody. I'm not making light of it. I know it's frustrating. I know it takes a different look at how to get around, but I just ask everybody to think when that gets done, it'll be a lot nicer, smoother, and for the residents in the area, it'll be a nice look on McCaig.
I rolled up to the McCaig-Dorset stop sign this morning, or the other morning, and I know the street's closed. I've been talking about it. I put it out there on the air, and I went on through the stop sign, and all of a sudden it was like, oh, I can't. Okay, time to turn around, and went up Dorset and just got on 41 and come downtown.
And you made it.
And I made it.
Well, thank you for allowing me to share a little bit of that. I understand the frustrations, but the outcomes are all going to be positive.
Like you said, you're living it too, because that's in your neck of the woods.
That's my neck of the woods, so we have made some adjustments, and we can still get north, south, east, and west.
All right, Mayor. Thank you so much for coming in this weekend. Again, Farmers Market starting. Don't forget, Sunday, tomorrow, Treasure Island. That starts at 3 o'clock?
3 o'clock. 3 o'clock will be our dedication ceremony followed by a kind of an open house from 3 to 5.
All right. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
This has been the Mayor's Report. I'm Clint Myers on 107.1 WTJN for David Denoyer on TCTV.